Bilingualism, Language Maintenance and Shift. Introduction. In the coming set of modules, we are going to talk about language maintenance and shift and issues related to it and other topics that might come under it. Now, when we talk about language maintenance and shift, this relates to the patterns of language use in a given society, how stable they are, and is there a change in the way or the type of languages that are being used for the same functions. So this relates to highlighting social, cultural, and psychological changes. So the policies at the top affect the psychological makeup or ideologies and attitudes of the local people. This relates to that is within the group relationships, and it relates to intergroup relationships also, that is relationships across groups. So in any case, there are some key conditions that need to be there for studying language maintenance and language shift. Number one, for instance, there has to be coexistence of more than one language. Number two, between these two languages, there has to be some sort of relational status. So one language needs to be have more power than the other. And even if not that, there has to be some sort of relationship of one language with reference to the other in terms of power structures. And then there need to be prevalent certain pressures, social, economic, and cultural, to use a certain language or to disuse a certain language. So what we are saying actually is that language maintenance and shift does not happen in a vacuum. It does not happen in monolingual societies. Yes, language change does occur there, but if we are to study these specific features, then they relate to multilingual environment. Now coming to more specifically to language shift. Language shift means that there is a gradual reduction of the use of language to perform certain functions which the language was earlier performing. This is known as shift, and it is argued that over almost 3 generations, language shift has been noticed in immigrant communities. That is, the more and more the younger generation takes up the language of the dominant elite in the given context. At times, it has also been noticed that language shift moves on to or slides into language death, especially in relation to minority languages, because the families stop using them at all. Now, in literature, language shift has received more attention than language maintenance has, and this is because minorities are often pressurized to assimilate in the dominant culture. So the instance of language shift is more there rather than that of language maintenance. And language maintenance has not been studied to that extent because maintenance of minority languages has been disfavored by the state, and majority languages have been taken if they are maintained, this is seen as something natural and uninteresting as such. Now you might be thinking, how would the states regulate the research? Well, not only the states, but several other organizations that are interested in research or somehow gear the research agenda, and that is because doing a research is not easy, and it involves financial matters. It only depends what kind of funding do you get and what is the agenda of those institutions giving you the funding that would allow you to conduct research in any one area. So the topics we are going to cover in the coming modules relate to language revitalization, language and ideology, and post-colonialism, and the thing about hybrid identity and how does it relate to language.